The family of Nathaniel Kling need your help. He went missing shortly before his 13th birthday.
The family of 13-year-old Nathaniel Kling is asking for your help to find him. They say Nathaniel is a warden of the state and ran away from Child Haven over a month ago. No one has heard from him since.
Krista Lee Harless speaking to us from Tennessee, worried sick about her stepson Nathan Kling.
Initially, we really thought maybe he'd try to come to Tennessee or go to Oklahoma where his aunt is. But without him showing up either place, it's scary.
The Center for Missing and Exploited Children released this flyer of the 13-year-old. He was last seen on February 2nd. His stepmom says he didn't get on the school bus the next day to go to Martin Middle School.
He would get on a city bus instead of the school bus. So they weren't super alarmed.
But Lee Harless tells us since Nathaniel went missing, she learned there were numerous times where he didn't return to Child Haven.
And they still trusted him to get on a bus alone.
Lee Harless believes Nathaniel is still struggling to cope with the loss of his dad, which may have triggered him wanting to run away, because there was a possible sighting of him at his dad's grave in North Las Vegas.
On the same night, flowers were left at his dad's grave, and we confirmed with his uncle that we have no idea who left them, so we kind of think it was Nathaniel.
Lee Harless has made a Facebook group called Find Nathaniel Kling for anyone wanting to help search for him.
Where is Nathaniel Kling? Was he abducted? Or is there something more sinister at foot?
This is Unsolved True Crime.
I am Krista Harless, stepmom, I guess. I never legally married his dad, but I did raise the kid for years. His mom and dad separated when he was about 5, I believe. His dad raised him in Grandpa's house. I came into the picture in 2016. We ended up with a house in Vegas for about a year before I came back home to take care of my grandmother, and that's in Tennessee. He stayed out there with his dad for an additional little over a year, I believe, and they came out to Tennessee to be with me. He was a smart kid, happy kid for all that he had been through, loved video games, actually loved war documentaries, which sounds odd enough. He was fascinated by World War II, enjoyed kind of mulling over conspiracy stuff and were things plausible or possible. He loved studying all angles of things. He would come home from school and be like, we learned about this. Why did this happen? Why did that happen? That and technology were the levels where you could really connect with him. Probably partially my fault because I just didn't wrap my head around Fortnite. He loved Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox. He also really loved the shooter zombie games on PlayStation. He was a whiz at cell phones, coding, electronics, robotics. Loved animals and his siblings. He was always the type, he wanted to take care of others. I let the kids choose chores to a degree. They didn't get to make things up, but they could say, this is useful, I want this chore. He chose feeding the dogs. He even tried to give them medicine when they needed medicine. He just loved taking care of. When, at the time, his youngest half-sibling, my mom has several younger half-siblings of his, but my youngest, he loved taking care of him. I mean, I've never seen the kid have more patience than with an animal or baby sibling. I would lose my patience sometimes, and he would just sit there, and I believe I sent you a couple video clips of him picking up a Christmas ornament. Patrick would knock it off, he would pick it up and think it was adorable. After his dad died in 2019, I got kinship placement of all the kids. August of 2021, Matthew and Izzy chose to live somewhere else. Nathaniel was receiving inpatient treatment at the time. So there was no way to transfer his custody along with them until he got out. In October of 2021, what I did was I petitioned the courts to step in to give him a better level of care. He was struggling with the loss of his dad. He may or may not have been autistic or just had a ton of trauma. They were treating him with in-home therapy and it just wasn't working. He wasn't processing his dad's death. He was having runaway behaviors and this and that. I asked the court to step in, trying to get him a therapeutic foster placement and possibly transferring custody to his aunt to see if he would do better in a different environment. Bio mom wanted to take him back to Vegas. She retained all parental rights, so the courts were like, yeah, go ahead. They asked for certain conditions to be met, which were not met when she left. And to my knowledge, when she lost custody of him to the state of Nevada, she still had not enrolled him in school, followed up with a therapist, taken him to a pediatrician, or filled his meds, which I had ready at a Walgreens there before they set foot on a plane to go back there. Jennifer Kling, I believe she's still Kling. Her maiden name was Gutierrez, but I believe she still do what? I don't know a whole lot. She was in prison when I met his dad and the kids. I remember when she got out of prison, I was worried about how things would work with the kids and would she have a problem with me. She did not. She didn't really seek custody at Alden or visitation. They insisted on some, but she said all she cared about, the kids were fed, taken care of. She really didn't want to seek to upset that. There were other comments made as to why. She mentioned to a CPS caseworker she didn't want to pay child support. She did care if they were fed and taken care of and was willing to take custody, but they were fed and taken care of, so she didn't want to upset anyone further. So she kind of stepped back out of the picture. Then after I came to and I met her, she seemed nice enough, not quite the picture painted to me previously. I was honestly a little scared to meet her. Well, there was a story that swirled around that Mike came home from work one day, and when Isabella, the youngest, was a baby, and he said, "Where's the baby?" And she said, "She's not here." He said, "Well, she didn't go to the mall with her friends. Like, where is she?" And she said, "She's out." The story corroborated with Mike's mom, Nathaniel's grandma, was that they found Izzy in a box in the dumpster. That was around the same time period that everyone blames her for breaking Nathaniel's leg on his 5th birthday, and that's when they went to live with Grandma and Grandpa. I don't know any real details about that story. Everyone blamed her, and his dad walked him to the hospital because he didn't drive, and then after the hospital got the kids and took them to live with his parents. She went off and had a whole nother family. She has I believe she had one child before she went to prison, and twins born in prison was, I believe, what was told to me. And the picture painted was that she didn't really care and was possibly violent. Later, I put pieces together, but considering she went to prison for, I believe they said, aggravated assault and kidnapping or something. Looking back on it, I may or may not blame her fully. Apparently it was an abusive boyfriend. She got charged with kidnapping because she took him somewhere else to get even. So temper, yes. Random, I don't know. I forget what the charges were, but I believe it was something to do with kidnapping because she took this guy somewhere else. It was all of our understanding he had received foster placement. We did not know he went back to Child Haven. Yeah, they had called me and asked me to take Nathaniel and all the siblings. I was like, I cannot entertain that. Like, if we were just talking Nathaniel, this is something we have to consider and what the resources are. He wasn't so much the runaway disappear type. He was, like I said, he had emotional stuff going on. He would get upset and kind of take off. When he took off from my house, he either stayed nearby, like on the street, and just took off as a show of independence or something. Or there was one time he went to McDonald's and got a McChicken. That was the time that scared me the most. So previously in Child Haven, this school year, they told me he had gotten on a city bus instead of the school bus 23 times. Why they still put him on a school bus and trusted him to go to school is beyond me. But they said the bus driver always called and they came and got him. The facts about his disappearance: he was at school on Thursday. He was not at school on Friday. Child Haven told me he did not come back on the bus after school on Thursday. They told Metro and other organizations that Friday he didn't make it to school. So I believe their official report is he didn't make it to school on Friday. I'm unsure where the details are confused there. But no one actually saw him go missing. No one, with his previous behavior, we assumed runaway, hiding with a family member, I don't know. But then when he didn't turn back up, the fact is we don't know that he ran away. We don't know that whether or not he met someone. We don't know if he found someone on a video game. Metro and DCS seem to really think Biomom was involved. They said they've been watching her house with no indication of him, and they're just on it. I've been exploring every option in the book, because the facts seem to be we have no idea how he went missing, where he went. Did he leave the school with someone? Did he see someone he knew when he got to school? No one seems to know. The possible sightings since he's been missing was at the cemetery the weekend after he went missing, the cemetery where his dad was buried.
Krista Lee Harless speaking to us from Tennessee, worried sick about her stepson, Nathan Kling.
Initially, we really thought maybe he'd try to come to Tennessee or go to Oklahoma where his aunt is. But without him showing up either place, it's scary.
The Center for Missing and Exploited Children released this flyer of the 13-year-old. He was last seen on February 2nd. His stepmom says he didn't get on the school bus the next day to go to Martin Middle School.
He would get on a city bus instead of the school bus. So they weren't super alarmed.
But Lee Harless tells us since Nathaniel went missing, she learned there were numerous times where he didn't return to Child Haven.
And they still trusted him to get on a bus alone. I can't even fathom that.
Nathaniel has had a hard couple of years. His dad died in 2019. He continued to live with his stepmom, Lee Harless, in Tennessee, but she tells us his biological mom wanted him back with her in Las Vegas. Then he was taken away from her and sent to Child Haven. Lee Harless believes Nathaniel is still struggling to cope with the loss of his dad, which may have triggered him wanting to run away, because there was a possible sighting of him at his dad's grave in North Las Vegas.
On the same night, flowers were left at his dad's grave, and we confirmed with his uncle that we have no idea who left them, so we kind of think it was Nathaniel.
Where is Nathaniel Kling? Did he run away? Was he abducted? We have so many questions that need answers. If you've seen Nathaniel Kling, know about his whereabouts, you're asked to call the Metro Police Missing Persons Department at 702-828-2907.